Welcome to Grandpa is Him, a fun microcast about everything and nothing in ordinary life. I am your host, Lynn Dimick, and if I'm your host, then you're my guest, and I hope that you will enjoy this time that you spend with me. You know, in a lot of ways, making a podcast is a lot like cooking. You start off with a basic idea of what you want, you start working on it, and you take little tastes or samples as you move along. And you find things to tweak and you try different things. Well, in this episode, because we had so many people and I didn't have 5 or 6 microphones, we tried to get by with a few less microphones and put everybody around a table. So what we have is kind of an auditorium type sound. It's very free-flowing. It's a lot of fun. It's very casual. It has a lot of extra noises in it because there were 8 other people in the house. A very informal, very fun setting. Oh, and this is the last planned podcast that involves Dungeons & Dragons. So let's get started. Today, we've got a special treat, and that we've got some Dungeons & Dragons adventurers who are a little different than the ones we've heard from in the past. These are some very special people in my life, and I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves. If they want to tell us their name, they can. If they want to tell us how long they've been playing, they can do that. And let's start right here.
Hi, I'm Ben. I've been playing Dungeons & Dragons for a few years now. Don't remember exactly when I started now, but I guess the first time I played was probably about 20 years ago.
And we have had a previous episode of Ben on here as a DM. He DM'd some of the adventures in this one, but it's from a little different group, and that's what we'll talk about. Next.
Hi, I'm Trenton. I'm the second grandson. I have been playing DnD since 2019. So.
Okay, thank you. And next.
I'm Travis, and I've been playing D&D for 5 years. Yeah.
About that. All right, next.
My name is Logan, and...
All right, try it again.
All right, Rogan, tell us about it.
Use your whole mouth this time.
My name is Logan.
Have you ever played Dungeons & Dragons?
I played it once, though my brothers don't really let me play on their campaign for some reason. Because they're big meanies.
No.
Right.
No, because you usually goof off.
No.
Next one.
All right.
Final guest.
I'm Luke, and I've been playing D&D for
about the same amount of time.
About the same amount of time as Travis, I think.
Okay.
No?
Normally we would have one more guest here, and that would be my granddaughter Penny. But due to some scheduling challenges, some technical challenges, and possibly getting in trouble for a dirty room, she will not be joining us tonight. What is the group experience? Ben, I'm going to ask you, what is the group experience here? What's the history? How did this group come together?
So we were talking a little bit about Dungeons & Dragons. I just started another campaign with another group about that time.
What year was that? Was that 2019?
Yeah, that was 2019. It was from the beginning of the pandemic, and we decided that we wanted to do something to give the grandkids a chance to catch up with their cousins and interact with them on a regular basis. And Dungeons & Dragons seemed like it was a good outlet for that. And there's a lot of enthusiasm about it when we first brought it out to the group. So,
all right, thank you. Thank you. How did you first hear about Dungeons & Dragons, Travis?
Well, Ben was hosting a family campaign, and it sounded fun.
That was really the first time you heard about it?
Pretty much.
Okay. What did you know about it?
It was fantasy.
It was fantasy?
It was fantasy. It was like rolling dice. That's it.
All right. Trenton, you've been playing the longest of the group. How did you get introduced?
I've really heard it from everywhere, you know? Dungeons & Dragons is just such a big name in games in general. If you haven't heard of it, I don't even know.
Is it popular with the kids in high school?
I would say so. There's a D&D group at school, and that's a pretty big club.
So it is a club.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. How about you, Luke?
Wait.
How did you first hear about it?
I popped my head in, and I think
On the family campaign?
about the family campaign, I popped my head in when Travis was, I think, talking with Ben about like making his character. I popped my head in and I was like, that sounds pretty fun. So the first time I played DnD, I actually shared a character with Travis.
It was annoying.
I was gonna say, how did that work?
It was very annoying.
Terrible.
I don't know which was worse, sharing the character or sharing the computer.
Both.
It was difficult.
We had to sit by each other and like both decide what we were gonna do, and it was so stupid.
So you had to learn to cooperate or fail.
Yeah.
That's one of the
And
lessons.
more times than most times it was fail.
Ben, when you were putting together this group campaign, what advice did you give them? Because the truth is that Dungeons and Dragons can be complicated. There's over 1 billion combinations for characters.
Isn't it like a trillion?
You're right. It's like 1.9 trillion.
What? That's a combination.
It's most likely a lot higher now.
Well, it's 1.9 trillion, and then Pathfinder is 66 trillion and growing.
What?
Something like that.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Does that include?
So what advice? What's that?
Does that include Artificer in the 1.9 trillion?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so. It does. I don't.
That makes
think so.
sense.
So Ben, what advice did you give them when you were putting together this campaign?
I think usually the biggest thing for players is helping them to break out of the normal board game mentality of, okay, I'm here. What are my options? And instead of, okay, well, you can do 5 things on your turn. You can kind of do whatever you can imagine. You just come up with whatever you want to do, whatever you think your character would want to do. And then collectively as a group, we'll figure out how to make that a reality, introduce into the game and figure out what the consequences are that come out of it. That's usually the biggest thing. It's just open it up and use your imagination as opposed to just saying, okay, what do I do? But what are my choices?
Was that hard for you guys to do? To try and think outside of a board game?
Oh, heck.
Yeah.
Really? It wasn't?
No.
It's not hard to pretend that you're in a world of dragons and warlocks and
It was kind of hard for me.
No, not with ADHD.
It was very.
forget your meds 1 week and you can drip in pencil.
I don't take meds.
Neither do I.
One day, no meds, entire campaign done.
And the one campaign I played, it was a disaster, and everybody was just.
I was the DM. I wish I had never done.
I invited like all of my friends. I invited Blake. I invited some random friends on the street. I was like, hey, you want to come play D&D?
We had like
Game
20
that you know
people.
nothing about.
We fought a monster, and that's how it
We
ended.
fought a single monster
lost
as in
the
the
very
campaign. No, we didn't even lose. We
We fought
we just like stopped playing in the middle of trying to kill this monster
So why did you stop in the middle?
because
Nope.
nobody knew how to play.
We killed the monster,
Oh.
and that took like 2 hours. So then we just stopped.
Because we were like, what can I do? Can I cast a spell? No, you're
Half the people had never played, and the other half were very inexperienced. So
And then like we tried to teach them, and it just didn't work out.
Okay, let's talk about some of your funniest moments. And I've got a couple in mind, and we've talked about them before. Trent, have you got one that you remember that was particularly funny?
Not particularly. Our entire group would sometimes just try to cast spells to destroy each other, but that was it.
All right. How about the story when Penny was invited to help fight some monsters, and she decided that she wanted to try and make friends with them?
Yeah.
How did that turn out?
that's a very Penny thing to
I
do.
don't even remember. I just know that it happened.
Yeah.
I don't think she made friends because I think they all died.
You were in that campaign, so
Travis?
And
I think it was mostly her trying to convince them to not fight. And
Yeah.
and then one of you, and as soon as they would start to listen to her words and think about it, all of a sudden one of you would whack them in the head with a sword or something.
I do remember that.
Right?
Travis, what was the setting for one of Luke's misadventures? Explain what happened there on the ship.
Oh, so we were sailing to a different country or continent. I can't remember. But Luke I think got really mad at the captain.
No, I just wanted to be plain stupid. I was like, I just want to go attack the captain. I like walked up to him with my dagger and I tried to stab him.
He stabbed him and then got thrown over.
No, I didn't even stab him.
You didn't?
No.
Oh.
I like
remember
Wait,
the
Pirates just literally let you walk up to the captain.
pirate.
It was about 1 minute too much dialogue for Nomad's day, and suddenly it was time to fight something, and this poor captain was the only guy there, and he was supposed to help us.
I just got thrown off the ship.
You just woke up and found yourself rolling in the waves.
Well, about 5 minutes later, the ship did get destroyed, so. By a giant sea monster.
Character.
No, you didn't. You washed up on shore with the rest of us.
Yeah.
You did?
Something
Now,
stupid
this-
like that.
The thing about the story that it points out is that it's more about the story than it is the script, because none of that was planned.
Yeah,
And so
no.
this is a situation where it turns into fantasy, where the dungeon master, in this case Ben, has to figure out how he's going to keep you guys on track. Do you think he exercises too much control? Is he a control freak?
No.
Yeah, no, I'm joking.
I wouldn't even roll the dice next time if I were you. Just say yes.
Especially for our group, definitely not. I mean,
He was just like, do whatever the heck you want.
Within limits.
within limits.
Yeah.
There are some limits, but they are not, but they are stretchy.
Oh, Ben, I've been meaning to ask you, did you homebrew that campaign?
No.
Hardly.
Oh, it was.
It was
quite
also
original.
sort-
Then can you make another campaign and I'm in it?
That's maybe later. We'll see.
Okay.
To be honest, Logan, I'm kind of afraid of what any campaign would look like if you were a part of it.
Like I
That
said,
is a very
2 hours.
viable.
Like I said, 2 hours to kill a single monster.
I think it was like a skeleton or something.
It wasn't even a skeleton. It was just like an earth elemental.
It was an
Yeah.
ogre.
Oh, wait.
Now, while you guys are having fun, what is it about the game that you find so fun? Is it the adventures, the battles, the role playing, or the characters? What is it you like about the game that is so attractive?
I like how unique it is, and everything about
Unique from what? As compared to what?
unique to like a board game. Like I think it was Ben who was saying that.
Okay.
That it's like.
So you like the free flowing
Yeah.
form of it?
I also like killing my enemies. That's really fun.
Okay. Travis?
Instead of being like Penny and Dragon friends.
The thing that I really like about the game is how many player options you can use to just do different things. Like, it's very versatile. Meanwhile, like, the most versatile board games are like, okay, you have 5 options. Meanwhile, D&D with, like, trillions.
1.9
Trillions.
trillion.
Million.
Shush.
Oh, don't even bigger than this.
So you like the fact that you can take different paths to achieve the same thing.
Yeah.
Different tools and things like that.
Yeah, like magic.
Last campaign, me and Travis were playing in.
Oh.
He had like the most OP character. He could deal like 60 damage in a single turn.
120.
Felt like Brandon.
The Jonas.
Trent,
Nice.
what is it that you like about it? Do you like the story? Do you like the adventures? What is it you like?
I like kind of a mixture of everything. The role playing, the story, the adventure, like creating your own character
Mm-hmm.
and then imagining yourself as that character and what you would do in a situation. Like I had a campaign that Travis made, and I had just this green gnome dragon. So it was like this 2-foot tall dragon character, and he was a pretty interesting fellow.
All right. Luke, you have something you want to
That's
say?
Logan.
Wrong house.
It's the haircut.
Wrong.
All right, Logan, go ahead. You had something you want to share. Then I'm going to go back and ask.
I like how. Wait, did D&D make the 20-sided dice?
Did who?
No, they did not.
No.
No, they existed before D&D.
Yeah, like I like the part where you roll all your skills. And then you put your lowest score as intelligence, and your highest score as strength.
That's the barbarian.
Which in my case, my strength is a 19, and my intelligence is a 6.
I can see
Yeah.
how Logan ended up taking 2 hours to kill.
Yeah.
You talked about playing your character. Is it where you try and project yourself into the character, or do you try and change the personality and try and think along the same things the player would like? There's a fantasy piece here that I'm still trying to wrap my arm around.
I mean, it could be easily a mixture of both. You have to think how the character does, but then, you could also add your own little twists to the personality of the character.
Or you can just think smashy.
Well, I think that's what everybody under the age of 10 does.
Yeah.
Like me, because I'm 9.
Luke, do you have any problems trying to play a different character?
The only problem I find is that when I start out with a new character, I have to get used to how to play them and what their personality is. Because in D&D, if you get their personality right, then your DM can choose to give you inspiration, which lets you reroll.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I
didn't
kind
know
of
that.
hate inspiration. I never do backgrounds.
I guess I haven't been inspiring enough yet, Logan.
Logan, your response there was kind of interesting, because there are times you don't like the character. Now, your response made me think that you don't know the whole game.
Wait, what was my response?
What?
I forgot it.
So the question I've got is, are there so many rules that it's hard to know what to do?
Yeah,
Okay.
especially with my brain being cuckoo all the time.
Logan says yes. Trent?
That's Travis.
Travis. Trent?
Right.
You just need signs.
You him.
Sometimes not. I mean, when you're starting out, there's just a lot to keep track of, and you're like, I don't know what's going on. What am I supposed to do here? It's kind of like Magic. When you first start, you don't
Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
Card game.
Oh, yeah.
Magic the Gathering. You don't really understand it at first, but as you keep playing, all these complicated, massive 500-page rule books become, oh yeah, this is something I could just do without much thought to it.
I read these for fun.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I've seen what you got in the milk at Amazon, so I know you do.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I think everyone here has tried their hand at being DM.
Yeah.
That's it for
No.
me.
Except for these.
Jordan, you haven't yet?
No.
Oh, you haven't? It's
So-
actually really.
If I were a DM,
Very
I would
stressful too.
crazy random
I
dragons
think
and
You
gnomes.
did that.
Trying to eat
So
me up.
how do you guys keep track of the rules, or do you just throw some of them out, or you just kind of figure it out as you go?
Wait, so Logan, with your dragon gnome eating world, which ones eat? The dragons or the gnomes?
Both.
They
So
eat
is
each
it a
other?
No.
dragon eat gnome world, gnome eat dragon world?
Yes.
Okay, let's go.
Wait, what did you say? What was the last question?
The question
I'm sorry
is,
about that. I thought everybody
do you
else
try
had.
and learn all the rules, or just certain ones when you're DMing, because there's 500-page rule book or something?
300.
Man, I love reading those. It's so fun.
So
I just learned the base rules, and then I just go use those unless.
Unless there's more than one.
There are things that can help you with DMing, sorry, Travis. There's one that's called DnD Beyond, which is super helpful.
right.
It's
Yeah.
very annoying because you have to buy
Like
the codes for online in order to do anything.
Yeah,
That's
it helps you make your character sheet, and it's really helpful.
See, one thing that drives me, it kind of makes it difficult for me, is that it seems to me that they've got about 4 different names for every action, and they behave differently. So there might be bash, there might be pound, there might be strike, there might be, I don't know,
Scratch.
clunk.
the
Whatever.
thing with D&D
Well-
is you're just I attack. You never specify how. You just attack them. You're unless you want it to be specified. You're like, I attack Froghemoth number 2.
Okay, well, just wait till you get the conditions. Like, what's the difference between being paralyzed, grappled, and restrained?
Grappled, you can't move. Paralyzed, you can't move either. And restrained, you can move.
As a senior DM here, do you get to the point where sometimes when you know what the action is, but you're not sure which way to apply it, and so you have to kind of make an on-the-fly adjustment for what would be appropriate? In other words, they want to do bash, but they really need conk or something else, and you just kind of wing it, knowing what they were really hoping to do and try and adjust the game?
Sure. Well, I mean, why not? I mean, usually I'll try to kind of explain what it looks like and talk it through. And usually when it comes down to it is I'll kind of ask people, I think this is what you're trying to do. Is that right? Okay, great. This is how we're going to go about doing it. You're going to start by moving, then you're going to attack with your on hand, and then you attack with your off hand, and then you're
gonna run away, and then you're gonna cast fireball and explode all your teammates.
Sure.
And then you're gonna use your long hairy toenail to scratch your nose.
No.
Okay, because you really don't want somebody's understanding of the game to get in the way of how they can play it.
Yeah. That drives the game up so bad because isn't every turn supposed to be up 6 seconds in real time?
Every round around the table is 6 seconds.
No, my character, he can run 50 feet. So, like, he can run 50 feet in a single turn. So, like, he's
running almost 10 feet a second.
Every 6 seconds, which is ridiculous.
No, that's not bad.
That's walking speed, Luke. That's not running.
Yeah,
okay.
that is.
Trent, you said that there's a D&D club at school, and that's high school.
I have one of those.
Well, I'll ask you. What's the club? Did you belong? Do you belong to the club at school?
No, I haven't joined it. I know some people that have joined it though.
What have you heard about it?
I've heard it's great. I mean, if you like Dungeons and Dragons, which makes sense for a Dungeons and Dragons club, then it's a great place to be.
Makes lots of sense.
Travis, you've got one at your school.
Yeah.
Tell us about it, because I know you're actively involved.
No, he's not.
I was until I joined marching band, but
Do you have a band in our midst?
definitely.
No, that was the French. That was the French.
I can make that comment because there's 4 of them in here, 3 of them in one meet. So tell us about when you're in the D&D club at school.
So typically I have like 5 to 6 people in my campaign, and they're all typically different, but
How long does the club meet?
once every
minutes or
how
so.
long? 45.
45
Oh,
minutes,
yeah.
and that's once a week?
45 minutes once a week.
What does the
Every
advisor do?
Thursday.
Advisor,
Yeah, is there an advisor for the club?
like a teacher that watches over.
Oh,
He-
Mr. Brown.
He sometimes makes his own campaign and invites people, and sometimes he just sits at his computer and plays games.
Cool.
Like cool math games.
All
She
right,
doesn't
Luke?
teach you math.
Yeah.
What club are you in?
I'm in the D&D club,
At
and
your school, which is different
Yeah.
than Travis's.
No, it's the same.
That's the
Same
same
club?
school. Yeah.
Okay.
So I actually DM. It's very tough DMing for only 45 minutes when your players talk a lot.
And half of them are dragonborns.
Yeah.
I can remember 1 or 2 campaigns when we had the family when we would start talking, and an hour later, Ben would say, there's only 60 minutes left, and you guys are still in the same spot when you started.
I do remember that.
But what it points out is that there is a social aspect.
I
To this
do.
game.
I do love the role playing of D&D.
Okay, but there's times when you're not role playing, when you're just talking and visiting.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
I have like.
Does that make the game more attractive?
Yeah,
Definitely.
definitely.
Yeah.
Like, I had a bunch of friends join this one campaign, and then I tried to join, and then they were like full to capacity, so then I had to make my own. And then those guys who joined my campaign, there was just a bunch of people who like arrived a week late to the thing and didn't have a party. They all joined my campaign, and it's great, but they talk a lot.
But I remember that.
Go then.
Yeah, it's that's one of the great things about it. It's not just people necessarily entirely into it just like full way I'm seeing a forest, not a classroom or something like that. Like sometimes it's just, a good game to play while you screw around with friends or something.
Is it really awkward if your friends decide to cosplay at the same time? Is it weird when they start dressing up?
Thankfully, I've never had that happen.
I've never
Yeah,
had that
it's-
happen, and if one of my friends does that, I'm kicking them out.
Yeah.
I didn't shoot it. Hello.
Ben, what are your thoughts?
I mean, it's usually fun when they do that, and until they start, having a romantic scene between their characters, then that's weird.
No, but why?
All right. So what
Oh,
advice
that
would you
would be
give to
good.
your friends if they wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons? Where would you tell them to go to find out about it? To find an adventure, if you will, or can't.
Buy one of the $60 books.
Find other friends that play it, or family members in this case, or join the DnD group at school. I'm sure
Yeah.
they'll definitely help.
So what if my friends in elementary want to play it?
Well, then you
Then
can
you're
start a club.
screwed.
Elementary schools have clubs too, so there's no reason you
No,
can't
they don't.
ask your teacher. You ask your teacher.
You could convince one of your older brothers to DM a campaign so that your friends can.
Not doing that with all of his friends. No way.
Well, that's an
That's the
option.
thing.
That would say what the
Yeah.
Sigma too much.
So then, when he decides to do something crazy, you can choose to have him thrown off the ship.
If you could play any character in D&D, either something completely different or one from a movie or a book, who would it be?
Oh,
There's
Wait,
Would
wait,
you
can
like to
you
try and build like Spider-Man or Superman?
wait? Can you choose one of your own?
If you could make any character in the world.
So I already have this character that I love. He is the Turtle race, and his name is Turtle. I claim that his parents were just really stupid, but I just couldn't think of a name.
Mrs.
Okay, why do you like that character?
Cause he's so fun to play. I've had him through 2 campaigns now.
Okay.
We're in the middle of our second.
So once you complete the campaign, is he at level 20?
No. The way our DM does it, she has like 7 different continents, and we've
One campaign for every
like
continent.
one campaign for every
So
continent.
one continent might be good for like levels 1 through 4, and then 5 through 8, and move up
4 through 6, more like.
4 through 6.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, we almost always like start at level 4 or so.
Yeah.
So Travis has nobody else in the group has actually kept their character because they want to play new characters. But I just love playing my Turtle character so much. It's
But
just
Travis, when they
so
want
fun.
to start off with a new character, do you roll them to a 1, or do you boost them to a 4 or 6, or?
It depends, really. If it's like they're if they've already been kind of bad they've had a kind of bad character, then I would boost them up to the same level. But if it's like they're strong and they want to do something else, I say, okay, maybe reduce it a level or 2 because it's a new character.
All right. So what character, if you could create a character from any movie, any book, anywhere in the world, who would you make it?
wow.
Well, you already did it, Turtle.
No, I didn't take it from a movie or anything. My friend actually made that character, and I was like, I don't want to make a character.
Wait,
Can I?
who made it?
Seth.
Oh, that was sad.
I was like, I don't want to make a character. Can I just have one of yours? Because he has like 20,000 character sheets that are filled out just sitting in his backpack.
And most of
Because he
them are
loves
called.
filling out. Because he loves filling out
Logan,
character sheets.
who would you have as a character?
Don't ask him this question.
I forget what. Well, if I could have any single character, I would somehow name them something very stupid.
That sounds like a very great name. Somehow very stupid.
Or
just Stigma or something. I don't know, something weird and stupid. And then their strength would be 20, their intelligence would be 2.
Okay, Travis, what would you do?
I would choose Kaladin Stormbless from Stormlight
I
Archives.
would love
The
to
Brandon
play
Sanderson
him.
novel.
Yeah,
I would love to play him.
I mean, he's a guy who can fly and form a spear any single weapon.
Tristan?
That is a really hard one. There are so many ways you
You
can.
wouldn't just pick Chuck Norris?
I mean, well, I don't want to win immediately. Come on. I mean, yeah, no, that's super hard because you could choose someone like Wolverine who is just super aggressive to everyone and is willing to pick a fight with just about anyone, or a character like Daredevil.
Like
right now, I'm
Penny.
using a lot of Marvel comics, but like Daredevil, who's completely blind, so you would have to put that into the game somehow.
If people just show up with the character sheets, and I know they're supposed to generate it by rolling dice and things like that, how do you keep them from rolling, just saying, I roll 6 nat 20s?
No, go roll
So
that.
you have to watch them roll.
Maybe you said your friend's got thousands of character sheets in his backpack.
Yeah.
Did he roll all those? Is somebody watching?
No, but he's the most honest person I know.
So you
He
trust
doesn't
him?
know. He doesn't know his cards out.
I mean, something that I
Yeah,
would look for is if people are rolling unnaturally high, then I
You tell
would
them.
just say, I need to see your next roll.
Okay, all right. How has
What's that
D&D
trend?
How has D&D changed the way you see storytelling or even school subjects like history or literature? Has it? How is it changing the way you're looking at things? Does it?
I'm kind of wow, that moment in history where a bunch of these people got killed is just like that last D&D session. Fucking don't say
Where do
that.
you guys get your ideas? If you're doing a homebrew campaign, where do you get your ideas from?
I sometimes just think of something and then one small little thing, and then that suddenly becomes oh, it's placed in this timeline with a bunch of these types of things, and yeah.
Once Travis was gonna do some World War II campaign where they were trying to assassinate somebody.
Hitler.
Oh yeah.
And Hitler's bodyguard would attack them.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting idea because they used to have those kind of games where they were based on history. Have you thought about taking some real life history, starting with the same characters, and trying to run a campaign to see what would happen?
I've kind of been wanting to do that, but with my school campaign, last session they killed Santa.
What?
Oh,
You didn't hear about that, Logan?
what a campaign.
No! How did they kill Santa? No one
Kill
presents.
Yeah, and I gave him the wonderful idea to next hunt the Easter Bunny.
Yeah. They're gonna just hunt every holiday.
Next, they should kill the leprechaun. At the end of the rainbow, pink flamingo.
Okay. For those of you that have been a DM before, or are thinking about it, or maybe thinking about it, what have you learned from being in groups with Ben as the DM and watching how he handles things? Has he given you any tips, or what have you learned?
I've just kind of learned to go free flow. If your players don't want to do something, then you don't force them to do something. You're you don't want to go fight Santa? Sure, stay in the town and protect the town from his cult. That was literally one of the options.
Yeah.
We do.
Did anyone choose that?
Free flow.
What I would do is I would kind of plan something out, but otherwise just kind of leave it free. So that way, if they don't choose it, I can just make up something. And if they do choose it, I can build upon something small that I've made.
I have to agree with Luke. Just always having a plan B, especially with those groups. You never knew what was going to come out of the next person's mouth, so you always had to have something ready for whatever they were going to say, whether that was, I'm going to sit in the corner and read a book, I'm going to make friends with the enemy,
Or
I'm going to hit this other player for no reason while we got 6 bugbears on us.
or I'm gonna throw the cap, or I'm gonna try to hit the captain.
Yeah, just anything that was anything that could have happened did happen, and he just always had some kind of backup plan for it.
And I think, Ben, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was to try and keep the game focused within a particular world without making it miserable.
Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of hard to say to encourage players, do what you want, use your imagination, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, but don't do that. That's not okay.
Yeah, like
Oh no, I know I said you can do that or whatever, but not that. Though. You have to do
no, you
something
can't
else.
just summon a dragon out of thin air when you're like, I want a dragon, I want a dragon.
You first need a 9th level spell.
But and so it just comes down to let them do it and then bring the consequences.
I want to cast wish. You don't have that yet.
I've got a question for you, and this is based upon a real experience. One of the problems that I think the whole game has is that this idea of metagaming. And Ben,
Travis
I haven't asked you this yet, and I suspect you knew what was going on. When we were on that adventure, walking around the ship, down below deck, in the rear, there was a couple of hidden rooms.
Mhm.
And I think that there was a key that was available in there, or a prison or something. And I knew that because I had read the adventure ahead of time.
Right.
And as
Oh,
a player,
I remember that.
I remember looking and looking and looking, and I had really crappy rolls. And I couldn't tell if you were just trying to punish me for metagaming or if you just decided I didn't really need that cheating. What was it?
I was living a boat, I guess. I don't remember the exact specifics behind it, but I think it was probably one of those things where you started down the path and had a couple of bad rolls.
I like two bad rolls.
It's just kind of like, I'd like to be able to make this connect for you and help this to become more interesting, but can't get there without something else redeeming here.
I so badly want to say, let me have it. And we got to help these guys out. And we'd have 5 minutes. Huh? You what?
Well, and that's part of it too. Though is that the dice rolls have to have some significance. Otherwise, why are we doing it? Is it just because we like the sound? If it's a matter of roll for it, oh, I rolled a 2. Oh, all right. Well, you succeeded anyways. Then it's kind of like, why are we?
I've
doing
seen
this?
these guys roll 60 or 70 20-sided dice on the online version.
Oh yeah.
And it sounds like a stampede with all those dice.
I rolled 100. I rolled 120 sided dice. The computer crashed.
Travis,
No,
how do you deal
No,
with
it's
metagaming? Because I know
Travis
peer group that's going to happen.
Travis metagamed once with his stupid overpowered character. You didn't
What?
really metagame.
What do you
but
mean?
You know your one barbarian where you could do
Oh, that really good one. That wasn't metagaming.
Okay, so
yeah, it was
so how do you deal with it? Because I would suspect it would happen a lot more in your group with everybody having books and sharing. And
I only really know two people who have really metagamed,
Maverick.
Maverick and Danny. But basically what I did is
Maverick and Danny, you're famous.
I doubt it.
Shout out to Maverick
Basically-
and Danny.
basically what I did is I, like when they say, oh, I go here to check or do something that's completely random, I ask why. And if they say just because, then I just say, no, do something else.
The early adventure games on computers, when I'm thinking back now to the 1990s and the 2000s, had some really weird puzzles. You had to do some really weird steps. Like if you wanted to open up a box, you'd have to go over here and turn the bird loose from its cage. You'd have to go find the bird. The bird would be fighting a snake. The snake would go down the hole. You'd have to capture a mouse, put the mouse down the hole. The mouse would come back out with a string. The string would be tied to a chicken. You'd have to turn the chicken loose, and when it laid an egg, they would have instructions on where to find the key. Stupid things that just don't make sense, yeah. Do you incorporate that into Dungeons and Dragons, or do you just try and make it realistic so you don't have these stupid puzzles?
Realistic. I mean, it is a fantasy game, so like realistic,
Misty stuff.
like realistic to D&D, yes. Realistic to real life, absolutely not.
I do love making kind of stupid puzzles for my players, though, because it's like you find a secret door that leads to another secret door. There's a secret lever on the ceiling. that opens a secret trap door on the side.
All right, let's wrap it up.
Do we get paid for this?
No!
You didn't say Grandpa's him.
Grandpa said,
Him.
All right, thanks, guys.
you owe me $100.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Grandpa is Him. We hope you enjoyed our discussion and stories, and maybe even found some inspiration for your own family adventures. Now, we want to hear from you. What questions do you have, or what topics would you like us to explore in future episodes? What stories can you share? Share your ideas. Simply visit our website at grandpaishim.com and fill out the submission form. You can also reach out to us on email at grandpaishim.com@gmail.com. We're always looking for your thoughts and experiences, so don't be shy. Join the conversation and help us create the content that matters to you and your family. Until next time, keep laughing, keep sharing, and keep those ideas coming.